Hey everybody, welcome back to HoloNet Marauders Live and HoloNet Marauders Podcast. I usually say that the other way around, so kind of short-circuited my brain a bit. Welcome back. I'm AJ, joined here by my bomb bad batch, Jamie, Matt, and Jack. I'm surprised I haven't used that one.
Whoa, buddy, slow down. We've already peaked. Where are we going to go from there?
We can't.
Somehow Jack is muted.
That's my bad.
I don't know. I tried to unmute you, and it wouldn't work. Anyways, still short-circuiting here. It's an extra late special tonight, like 15 minutes late from our usual time. So,
if anybody's still up, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Super late. The graveyard shift. And we're already at SpongeBob reference.
Well,
so how's everyone doing?
Wait, it's great. It's great.
All right.
Streaming out of the pod. Have night.
All right. I got to step off because I'm getting a call from work.
Oh, you are?
For some reason.
All right, go take the trash out.
Oh, that's
right. He actually is.
We have to do
out at night.
We have to do a Mando season 3 opening, don't we?
We do.
We've set ourselves a trend.
I kind of want to do, as great as this intro is, I kind of want to do a different intro for the rest of the 8 episodes, but we can discuss that after.
We can discuss. We'll discuss.
Take a poll.
We'll discuss.
So who was late? First, it was gonna be me. Apparently, I think Jamie thought, but then it was Jack.
Yeah, it was like a little bit. I was the one who asked us to be earlier too, so I knew it was egg on my face.
It's all good. It's the Jack special, I guess. Sometimes I do it. I'm usually late too, though. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about when Matt gets back here eventually. Hopefully, all is good. We're gonna be talking about Bad Batch season 2, episode 7 and episode 8, Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences, which were, I'll just say it before Matt gets back, but like I think these were by a landslide, in my opinion, the best Bad Batch episodes out of the 2 seasons, and they might even be, I guess we could call this an arc, one of my favorite arcs in all of Star Wars animation. Like this was big time Andor vibes, which we all know how much we loved Andor. And how much I loved Andor too. Like it was Coruscant, it was the Senate, the politics, the back alley meetings with Bale, kind of was like Luthen.
Yeah,
like it was the music. The Counter Brothers music was very synth wavy, as Jamie always talks about. Very Blade Runner, as you're probably gonna say.
Yeah.
But just incredible episodes, both 10 out of 10 episodes, in my opinion. Very good. Yeah.
I don't even have an opening take because
usually we don't. It was just I had to get it out of the way.
I can't actually. My opening take I can't say yet because Matt still hasn't returned, so I have to save that one. Oh, I can talk about the purple poncho though.
Purple poncho,
guys.
It was like a lavender white.
Omega's
poncho.
purple poncho. Yeah. I have been looking at this. There has been 2 images of it. There was 2 images in the Star Wars Celebration last year, that trailer that got dropped. So almost a full year ago. There was 2 images from that trailer, and I've been looking at it since last May. And now we finally got a full episode about this goddamn purple poncho. And it's a Pantoran purple poncho.
Yeah, it's all centered about poncho.
Nothing else happened in this episode. It was all about
Omega's poncho. I like that poncho. Where did you get that?
Poncho buddies. I am obsessed with it. I'm not even kidding. Like I want to know, Bad Batch like writing room, creative team. Are you sitting in my brain? Like, did you know I wanted a purple poncho in Star Wars? Like in all of my bios on social media, it is 3 porgs in a poncho with a Cam Toto of iced calf.
So I'm assuming that this wins best poncho in Star Wars, beating out Cal Kestis and his various.
Yes.
The pink, even the Ogdo Bogdo pink.
Unlock though.
Yes.
Wow.
It does.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
That's
what other ponchos are there?
What are the ponchos?
There's like a million ponchos.
Jin has one.
Jin has one. I was thinking of Boba Fett.
Cassian has one in Andor.
That counts. The
Ahsoka's
Death
got
Watch
that
ones.
sweet ass poncho she's wearing. You're like, holy
Yeah.
shit, what's going
Ass
on with
poncho.
That's fine.
that? Yeah, you ever had an ass poncho? It's great. Really covers it.
I'm glad I'm back, guys. Glad I'm back.
All
An ass
right.
poncho. But yeah,
but
how was your
no.
call, Matt?
Yeah.
It was
Doing well?
good.
All right,
Yeah.
good to hear.
No
My
problem.
opening take that we don't usually have opening takes, but mine was best 2 episodes of Bad Batch so far, in my
You
opinion.
had your opening
And-
take.
Well,
Well, Matt didn't hear it. I have to catch him up to speed.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm
And
sorry.
maybe
like
one of my favorite animation arcs.
wow.
So.
I would say the first of the 2 episodes really was like wow. Which again, something's wrong with my brain. Where all of my favorite Bad Batch episodes are the one where the Bad Batch don't show up. I got to fix that.
I'm glad you mentioned this because I said this to
Yeah.
Jamie. And sorry, Jack. I'm
No, go for
blabbing,
it. Go for it,
blabbing
man.
up a storm here. I'm blabbing up a storm that's going to destroy
Your
Camino.
show.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Kinda
Allegedly.
cosmic.
I love the Bad Batch, and it's fun to see them all the time. But I almost wish it was that Clone Wars feel of like we're checking in with different Jedi and clones like everywhere around the galaxy. Like that's
At
kind of
least,
what
like,
this
Rex.
episode was. That's what
I would've
Ryloth
liked to
was
see
last
Rex.
season.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? It
Yeah,
reminded me of the Hera episode last season.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember complaining at the time, like very, very vividly, being like, the Simpsons kids, like watching the Poochie episode, being like, when are they gonna get to the fireworks factory?
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm like, when is the Bad Batch gonna show up? But I don't know. This time it hit me different. I was so caught up by the initial intrigue and the assassination of was it Slip that got killed?
No, it was the
Was
other
it
one.
Slip that
Cade.
gave him the slip.
Cade.
Cade died.
Slipped away.
Slipped away. Yeah.
What?
How are you gonna name
Very
the clone
heavy
Cade?
episode 2 vibes with that billboard. Like,
All of
digging
it.
it. I
Oh,
usually
yeah.
wouldn't say that, but in this case, digging it.
I'm gonna quickly jump into this bit as well. Like they dropped the concept art. They dropped the episode guides finally. They just randomly in one article dropped episodes 1 through 8, the episode guides, the concept art, the character figure turnarounds and whatnot. And I'm obsessed with it. I've been clamoring about it for weeks. Me and like 3 people on Twitter have been like, but
remember
they're
you
here.
Oh my god,
complaining
can
about
someone
that
get
last
this out,
episode, weren't you?
please?
they're like, we gotta appease those like 3 people who keep
They listen to
pestering
you.
us.
Because they do listen.
But yeah,
For
they
sure.
did. I'm so excited, and I thanked excessively. One of the art pieces from one of the concept artists, Scott Centeno, he did the Coruscant underworlds, and it literally says it was Cocoa Town. We were this close to getting Dex.
Oh, I know.
This close.
I was saying I wanted to see Dex's diner all boarded up and stuff.
I was
That would've
about to
brought a
say, how
tear
do
to
we
my
know
eye.
it's still there?
We gotta like look closely now. Like, was it there? Like,
Yeah, we got.
They,
It was
they
Cocoa
pulled
Town.
3 Star
Frame
Destroyers
by
over
frame.
that and decimated that thing too.
Yeah, like Terrace and Kotor just like
Yeah.
level it.
Bombarded the thing.
assault.
Oh no.
So
I
Wait,
love
this
that the
episode-
clones are really reckoning with the reality of the destruction of Tipoca City, and like
yeah, it is really
like,
cool to see.
it's all coming to a head, or it has come to a head, quite frankly. But it
I
was in
just-
that beginning really badly.
I just really, really love that. Like everybody's just like, oh yeah, a storm just destroyed Tipoca City, and then one person is like, wait a minute, isn't the city submersible and doesn't it survive thousands of storms a year? And everybody's like,
It's always a storm.
And then the guy's like, gotcha, Rampart. You're
Camino
screwed
waves
now.
can't
It's like,
destroy
What a terrible cover.
Durasteel beams.
yeah, right?
Hey.
I was like, what the hell? Nobody thought of that?
They should have just said like a rebel cell took it out or something.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
they
like-
just said that. Or
Krieger.
really
It would have been
anything.
so easy to just say it was an insurrection, because I mean, yeah, no. it
Or
wasn't, but
say
it
the
was.
clones did it. Say the clones destroyed it. I mean, Palpatine basically did that anyway, except he also ended up throwing Rampart under the bus.
So
How
just-
dare they follow
my orders?
Oh my god! Exactly right. Oh yeah, they're too obedient. You got to get rid of that.
That's messed up. I want my soldiers to question me. I love
my
that.
Yeah, right.
This didn't
Oh,
happen.
man.
Guys,
This wasn't until
This-
episode 8,
I
but
think
Yes.
we all must have been flipping out once we saw him
Oh,
walking around. I think it
Oh.
took me a second. I was like, hey,
Dude,
wait
I
a minute,
lost
what the fuck? Gawky's up.
Could it-
this was why I wanted to wait till Matt came back, because I was like, this is what the first thing I wanted to say was, I gotta say I'm eating my words, because I literally said last week I think that Gonki is dead, and then this week there he goes
jinxed him
strutting
into
up to
the end.
Omega, just checking up on what she's doing. Oh, I just and then I love how he just like makes his way back, and Echo's like, could you move, and like walks.
No respect.
And that's all we got. That's all we got.
I gotta
But,
do
like,
this but with Gonki.
Yeah.
Back from the dead.
I'm
man.
so happy that Gonki is back though, and so we have the
There's
droid
Gonki.
batch going on again. I'm just so happy to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, we could get them all together now. They're all alive. Canonically, there could be a droid batch episode sometime down the
Gonki, AZ,
road.
and
And what's her
Mel.
name?
And
Mel.
Teo.
Flo.
And
This is a
Teo.
joke that I think
Flo.
only folks in the builders area would get, but the Badley batch would just be a bunch of Michael Badley droids.
Ooh.
He's a guy who like makes a lot of files for R2D2 droids. There's some context for you. No one left behind. That's my motto.
Check
Okay,
that one off on your bingo
Bingo.
cards, guys.
That was
You
too
guys-
niche. I know it. I know it's too niche, but I got in too deep. and I
We're
had to
getting
commit.
in with those references. Get them all in now.
We also off the bat we saw 79s, the clone
Yeah.
bar, which
Oh yeah.
is the only other episode we see that in the Fives arc, the Fives
Yep.
episode, or do we see that another time too? That's
No.
it.
I think.
I
that's
think it's like mentioned early on in the Clone Wars, but like it's
Okay.
really only seen in the Clone Conspiracy arc.
where Kix is chilling.
Kix is
Checking
chilling
himself out in the mirror. They're
Last
sitting in
time
the
he was
same
seen.
spots too. Slip and Cade were sitting where Jesse and Kix were chilling at the bar in that scene. So
Don't
they
sit in
definitely
those
just
seats.
oh, let's just but-
Bad luck. Those two stools at the end of the bar. Don't sit in them, guys.
Yeah,
One of you
you'll
is going
die.
to end up dead, or both of you,
Cursed.
or one of you is going to be frozen. Who knows?
Senator Pamlo. from
Yes,
Rogue One.
Yes.
I got
was
so excited to
awesome.
see her. Like
I had no idea what her name was, but as soon as she popped up, I was like, "Oh, she's from Rogue
There
One."
she is.
Like she was
yeah.
like super like
Oh, I didn't even catch
recognizable.
that.
Like immediately, I was like, "Oh yeah, Rogue One."
Which she's the senator from Terrace, right?
Yes,
another
like
Terrace
I
reference.
like low key, like I don't know why I love Terrace so much, but like my Jedi OC is from Terrace, and so like seeing Senator Pamlo, I was just like,
Yeah.
yo, oh my god, it's Senator Pamlo. Like I was like over the moon.
I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
excited to see Senator Chuchi again. And,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that was
Is that
such
the
a
same
major
voice
part
actress
too.
as Omega, or is that a different
No.
person? Okay.
It's the same voice actress who did it previously, and she also
Yeah.
did Ayla Sakura. So Jennifer Hale, I believe, is the
That's
voice
Jennifer
actress.
Hale. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I feel
Yeah.
dumb.
She does sound
Only one of the
similar
most
to
prolific voice actors working.
yeah. She sounds similar to Michelle Lang though. That's a good point.
Well,
Yeah.
she does a good. I don't want to say New Zealand accent, but it's got like a little flair to
got
it. I don't know
something,
what
yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
call it.
I
That's
guess
that
it's just
region, so it's really best.
Yeah.
I guess that's just what they decided what the Pantoran dialect was. But yeah, I love the Pantorans, and
Oh.
seeing Senator Chuchi again was just very, very cool to like see her like continuing all of this, because we know that like she was like in like Padme's like inner circle, and so like seeing this literally this spirit of Padme like continuing on, it's just like it's a
Yeah.
In
big
like
W,
perfect
guys.
Padme spirit vein. I mean, who else? Nobody else was thinking of the clones. She's the only person who was like, "Oh, what
Mhm.
about the clones?" You know,
Right.
which is a very like that would so be a Padme thing. As soon like if Padme was still around, that's like as soon as the Empire became a thing, she'd be like, "Oh, what about the clones?"
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, where's Papa Noida?
Yeah,
We
he's-
asked that. Where is he?
he's gone.
Dead.
Gone.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Uh,
But yeah,
Sad.
Matt, we were saying that these episodes were very Andor because we got Coruscant, obviously.
Yeah.
We got politics, we got the music.
Can't
So
stay
it
away
was-
from Coruscant now. All of a sudden, we're going
Imperial Coruscant is-
Andor,
is
Bad
so cool.
Batch, and we're gonna get New Republic Coruscant soon.
Yeah.
In Mando, probably. I mean, I don't know.
You think so?
I think that
Yeah.
city was
From the
was
trailer
Coruscant.
shot, yeah.
I mean, no,
Huh.
I originally
thought of
said
that.
it wasn't, but now I don't know.
You're-
We'll see.
I don't
somehow
know
you
anymore.
return.
Whenever they show me a city planet, I don't know.
I was
I'm
hoping
just
it
still
was
burned by.
Hosnian Prime.
I'm just burned by that ring world.
Glavis.
So
Oh, Glavis was
it's
awesome.
so cool, but it's not what I want.
Why are you burned?
I like
What did-
Glavis.
what
I
do you
want
want it to be?
Narshada.
Narshada.
Yeah, I do too.
Narshada is not a
Thank you,
rotating
AJ.
ring in space. I'm sorry. That is just 10 times.
No, listen, I'm not mad about the rotating ring in space. It's just it's not what I wanted. Okay.
They
all
could
want
have had the
Narshada.
chance to do Narshada, but they went with the Ring World instead. That's the sour point here.
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it.
I love Coruscant though. I'm glad that
Yeah.
we're getting to see it as much as we have so far. Like seeing the Imperial side of it, seeing the barracks, but also getting to see like the Senate building and seeing all of that so far. And even just like seeing like the underworld with like the announcements going on as people are just like walking around and saying like, oh well, you can enlist in the army and you can make money and protect your galaxy. And it's just
Hey.
like, oh boy.
We'll have
that
you flying
propaganda
in no
is there.
time.
Yeah.
But
Um,
you know, I missed the look of Coruscant from Andor. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, because when I brought it up, I got lambasted a couple of times
did you?
from our good friend Corey, who didn't like the concrete look of Coruscant in Andor. Some of the more brutalist
I think
side
this
of
was a
things.
good blend.
This had the prequels Coruscant vibe, which, if you know
Yeah,
me, that's like my hottest take, is I don't really care for prequels Coruscant that much.
I think that makes sense because it's more like an Art Deco kind of vibe to it, and the brutalist comes in once the Imperials like have time to actually construct their own architecture the way they want it to be, and
Yeah.
like redesign
Yeah.
everything. That's when
True.
it becomes more brutalist in design. So we're
There-
still seeing, because like it hasn't been that long since the fall of the Republic.
I
Yeah,
will
it's only
say-
been like about like a year at most or so.
yeah. Yeah.
Because like they're still in that transition period. Because one thing I pointed out in the second episode here was the Imperial cog isn't at the bottom of the Senate yet. When everything happens in the second episode there. So like
Yeah, Chad
Hmm.
also gave me grief. Just pointing that out.
I
Bad
said like no
comments.
response to that, and I was like,
I was trying to keep up
Sorry.
with the comments over here.
I was trying to
also.
keep up with the comments too.
They each
Thank
speak
you.
to the times.
for listening.
I'm sorry.
What do you think? Do you think
Trying to keep this in.
Ryo knew about no one really knows about the inhibitor chips, right?
No,
Except Rex and a handful of the clones, obviously
Guys.
Palpatine. And
I'd
the
say
bad
Bale
people.
probably knows.
You think so?
How did he catch wind?
Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she totally
makes
would have
sense.
told him.
Yeah.
Which I want to bring up Ahsoka later on, but like let's we're kind of all over the place. Like let's I guess dive back into like try to do this thing in order. Slip
always try.
slips away, and there's the assassin that takes out Cade, who
Yeah,
I
I think
Okay.
we all
first
thought
thought
it was
was-
going to be Crosshair,
I
right?
thought it was Crosshair. at first,
Same.
but
Yeah,
everybody
but
did.
Crosshair
I
doesn't
mean,
he was
miss.
a bad shot.
Crosshair doesn't miss that many times, right?
He missed
That's
too much
true.
to be
I
Crosshair.
agree. Yeah.
Plus, in like when he's walking away, you couldn't see his like little rangefinder. So like, if you're
And-
looking,
What's
don't
wrong
know.
with my armor? I like my armor.
I don't know if Crosshair would take out a clone at this point in his like arc. I think
he's very
be,
confused.
He'd be like, hell no, and shoot Rampart instead or something.
Well, he doesn't have to anymore
Yeah.
because we're not
Yeah, what's
seeing
gonna
that
happen
guy
to him
again.
now?
We probably are. I don't
Yeah.
know. I honestly don't know. But we're talking about the end of the 2 episodes again, so let's go back. Sorry, I brought it right back to the end.
But we can talk about Rampart, I guess, because we see Masameda. Well, slips
Good
away.
to see him.
The
Good to
assassin
see him.
leaves.
on the slowest speeder bike I've ever seen in my damn life.
Very slow. He needs to tune that thing up. That thing's farting along, and then we see
It took some
Masameda and
damage.
Rampart chatting in the hallway of the Senate building, right after
Mhm.
Ryo rips everyone a new one, rips
Yes,
Rampart a
he
new
is.
one, and those other two
Yes.
separatist senators.
Yeah,
that
the
were being
banking
Palimos.
plan.
The
Okay.
woman with the long neck. Oh, I forget what
I
species
was
that is.
just about to
I-
ask, what species is she? Because
I hate-
oh my
I hate
god,
her.
it pisses me off that I don't know what species she is. I know the other
Ah.
guy's an Ishi Tib. I like Ishi Tibs. I
She
don't-
was.
Is she
I don't
too?
remember the species, but she said she was a representative of the banking clan. So like, regardless, this
banker?
is. Yes, she's a banker. She's in finance. Finance.
I like
Um,
the banker.
The. She's a business girl.
Come on,
Um,
comments, help me out here.
The funniest part about like all of that is not really the funniest, but like it's showing how the Imperial Senate is like the blending of the Republic and the Separatists again. So like we haven't really like seen that before until this moment, because like in Andor it's
Hmm.
very clear it's everyone just like together, whoever is just there and whatever. But like this is like the moment where like they're still like very clearly these are the Republic senators and these are the Separatist senators.
That's a good point. I never thought of that, actually. That
That's a great
we're
point.
seeing like the separatists. That's
Yeah. That's what they are.
yeah, well, yeah, but
Mm.
I just never thought of it like that. I don't know why.
They talk about that in Andor. I know Saw talks about it because he talks about. I think he talked about Krieger, right? He didn't like Krieger because Krieger was a separatist, and like that's the different side of like a separatist and Republic
wounds
people
run
working
deep.
together. Yeah,
The Empire didn't care because I mean most of those were Palpatine's lackeys anyway, so it was pretty
Right.
easy for him to just force them to be folded in. But like, man, for all the senators of the Republic to just like see them walking around the halls, it must be a weird feeling.
it must be really weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
actually.
Post Civil War era Senate must have been a rough time to be walking around them halls, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
very awkward.
I would probably agree with that. A little rough time, pretty rough time.
It's a
Say
play up our own
gossip.
comment. It's a gossip, I guess.
It's a gossip.
Gossip?
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, I
I'll
gotta
Yeah,
have
just
Google that.
check. Thank you.
But yeah, Jamie, what was your point earlier?
okay.
You said that none of us were listening.
Yeah, I am actually curious about what you said.
I liked
I don't
Floating
remember.
Humor's comment, so I was very sidetracked. Okay.
Damn it.
Oh
I'll have
gosh.
to roll it- I'm gonna have to roll it back, and then it's gonna be after this is over. I'm gonna roll it back, and I'm gonna be like, "Damn it, that was a good point."
for
I
about,
wanted to
like,
say something."
Sub 20
I
minutes
don't
in.
remember.
Maybe the chat remembers. I don't know.
It just like
Chat remembers. The ass
Whatever.
remembers.
Yes, remembers.
Oh, I said the Imperial Senate doesn't have the big cog in
Oh,
the
right,
middle
right,
of the
right.
floor yet, because that was the big thing in
Oh,
Andor. Like,
right.
remember when that was like in the trailer and like the photos like coming out that the Senate, but then you see the big Imperial cog logo in the middle. That's not there yet
They
in
haven't
this version
installed
of the Senate.
The
Yeah, they
giant
haven't-
cog yet for some
They're
reason.
They
drawing
haven't found
that
the
up.
right company. They're
Yeah.
looking for the right, like they're still bidding on the job. Like
They
this one
haven't-
company thinks they
they
got
are,
this
yeah.
good paint.
Palpatine's trying to find like
You're
the
still
best
getting good quotes.
cost-effective one here. So, yeah.
Damn, those renovations are taking a while.
Yeah, they are.
Contractors, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I love how painfully obvious it was that Slip radioed Rex. Wait,
Everyone has his number ready to
like
go.
yeah, every clone has like Captain Rex's like phone number. I think that is
Mhm.
hilarious that like
Better
they
call
all
Rex.
they all know who to call, which is fantastic.
Absolutely
How's that number
love.
get out amongst the clones?
Yeah. I love
What's
how
what's Rex's clone number? Like, what's his CT number?
CT
6567.
Yeah, that's his. They just dial that.
There you
Anyways,
go.
Yeah, that's
what
a
you
good
were
one.
saying.
I was gonna say that I loved how Ryo immediately recognized Rex. First
Everyone
of all, he
does.
shaved his head.
Well, he's like
Uh,
blondish.
You still got the blonde peach.
He's
wanna
got,
fuzz.
hear
he's got the blonde peach fuzz, but it's even more or even less fuzzier than it was before.
Guys, you wanna hear
Imagine if
some shit about Rex's hair? If you look at the concept art, there's like one of Rex, and he has the poncho again, which I'm very excited about, and he looks normally shaped and not wearing the armor underneath, so he's not like her. But like the notes literally say hood is longer, so that way it can hide more, so that way it can hide hair growth. But his hair was the same, so we were this close to having Rex with more hair.
Oh,
He
No,
just comes out with like
disappointed.
long blonde hair,
I would. Oh my god. Yes.
or he just looks like Hunter, and he also wears a headband, but it's like a blue headband or something.
Also, Rex
Ah.
is 7567. I was close. I had to look it up.
7567.
8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9. I don't
I'm
know.
imagining nice long flowing blonde locks on.
Yeah, so-
Rex.
Surfer Rex.
How does
Yeah,
he-
exactly.
he doesn't dye his hair? It just grows in
He
blonde.
must dye it.
Yeah, what's up with that? I've never.
This is a
understood.
hot
Is
debate.
that ever explained?
I don't
No.
know, guys.
It's a hot debate.
He
Does
dyes his
he
hair.
does he bleach his hair?
Well-
Because like his eyebrows are like the brown.
I am
color.
no scientist, if you
Right.
didn't know, but Omega has
Sure.
blonde hair. Maybe some like chromosome like in the DNA.
It's
There's the
possible it
blonde
might have
gene.
been a defect. There's a fun
Slight one.
fan theory which I choose to believe is true, that like Rex
he
was
dyes
almost
it.
decommissioned as a kid because he had like the wrong color hair, but like Cody was like, no, you got to save this guy. But that's just like a random like fan theory. That's not canon at all, but that's like my personal favorite one.
I could go for that.
Are there other blonde clones other than Omega?
Yeah,
No,
there's one on in the 212th.
never mind.
Cries, I think is his name.
Cries.
Cries.
Yeah.
Cries.
Anyway,
I
Okay,
love
it's
I love random clones. We learn their name and then they just die. Like,
this is more
we get one every week in this.
the
Cut
brutal
up.
death this week.
Cut up.
Who's the brutal
Who's
death
the
this
brutal
week?
death
There was a
this
couple.
Well,
the cyanide
but
tooth?
the cyanide tooth,
Yeah, that's
Mr.
pretty
No
rough.
brutal.
Name.
No name.
and then I guess like a bunch of guys and like their starfighters in the second one.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Sure. I guess there's a brutal.
You're pretty
cyanide
removed
tooth
when
was-
you're seeing
was
a
tough.
ship blow up. You know, you're not really.
I was
Cyanide
just
tooth.
thinking,
Yeah,
the
that
cyanide
seems
pill
like
is
a
pretty rough.
worse
That's
way to
suicide
go.
on screen for a pseudo kid show.
the sniper
True.
later on when Senator Chuchi meets up with I almost said Slide.
Slide.
Slip.
Slip and
and
Slide.
slide. No.
If
But if that
his name was Slip, we were this close.
He's
Slip and
slipping.
Slide.
He slides.
Wasn't Slip the one who died?
Yeah,
No,
Cade.
Chip died.
Cade
Cade
the one
died
who
first.
died.
Slip died
Slipped away.
defending Chuchi.
That's it.
It's like a school thing you have to memorize. You're like, all right, slipped
Did-
away.
Cade,
Slip
Dave.
jumped over the brown droid and
Anyways,
uh,
like I was saying, the
did
sniper.
did anyone buy that it was like anyone other than Rex showing up in that
No.
cloak?
No.
No way.
Who else would it
Like
be?
it was like this is obviously Rex. What are you doing?
Yeah, you don't gotta hide it. What were you
Again, it
saying,
like all
AJ?
like led up to it. Like we
How'd I
we
kill
the
Chuchi?
clone like Slip like radios for him. There's no response, and then he radios him again, and like the voice back is like, "Oh yeah, that's Rex," and, like then he shows
Oh
up.
yeah, that's Rex. Imagine if she was like Rex, and he's like, no,
No, it's
I'm
actually me.
Slide.
I shaved.
There were so many bearded clones in this episode.
Dude, what the hell? They're
Like-
letting clones grow beards now? What's
I think
inside?
no, this is like wicked interesting
You
though.
can't paint your armor, but you can grow a beard.
Think about this: the
You think
ones
it'd
who
be
are like
stricter.
the ones who are based on Coruscant. So like the ones that we saw like on base with Crosshair, they're all very regulated. Like they have like the uniform haircuts. None of them have facial hair, but like the ones in the bar, most of them have like some sort of like deviation of their hairstyle, and like they have a beard or like something. But these are the ones that are still active duty out there, but they're currently on leave. Like obviously Slip is like on like Rampart's crew, so like their ship is docked right now. So like these are the ones on leave. So these are the ones still seeing the action. They're the ones who are being put through the ringer daily still, and they're just like something isn't working. And I love how Rex straight up uses the term "my brothers are waking up." Like that's fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I am dying for this content, and like it's so good to like see like this actually coming to light.
They're overcoming the chips, which we've talked about a couple times. We've seen
I really
handful of
hope we see
clones.
Cody again.
Hauser.
As
mean,
soon as he said that, I was like, Cody, where are you? I thought
I'd
you
be
would with
heavily-
Rex.
Do you just mean this season or at all?
Just at all.
I mean, I'd be very disappointed if we didn't. Honestly, like, why would they just show him and then never show him again?
true.
Yeah,
True.
so
He'll
we'll see
probably be
him.
back by
There's
the
plenty
end of
of
the
time.
season.
That's the
I hope we
beauty
see
of
Rex
actually
again
having
this
enough
season.
episodes.
We'll probably see Rex again because I'm pretty sure we're going to see somebody else before the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll
You
get
know
there.
what
We'll
I'm
get there.
talking about.
So, I was gonna point out that when Senator Chuchi's meeting with Slip,
Mhm.
Slip,
Slide.
Jesus.
You were wrong.
No, get out of my head. Everyone's the assassin takes out a bunch of the guards and Slip, shooting them in the shoulder. Obviously, they can't show someone getting just sniped in the head on an animated series. But
Yeah.
my guy Cobb Vanth, if he was in animation, he wouldn't have made it getting shot in
No.
the shoulder.
But then again, the one of the guards took it right to the like friggin' armpit, like right here,
He had
and
some Beskar on under
he
there.
just absolutely walked that shit off. Like slip and slide, shot in the shoulder, dead, gone, obliterated. This other guy shot like closer to the chest, and he's like, "Oh, whatever."
I think
Gotta
it's
get him to safety.
the Pantoran guard armor. They must have like some sort of chest piece because the other one got sniped like from the shoulder, like in like the back like region. So he didn't, or it was like a little bit higher. And then I just gotta say, like the new like clone like casual wear, more vests to be seen.
Oh,
And that was just no armor. That was just like dressed down like uniform. So
I
you're
thought they
dead.
just had like a shirt on, but yeah, you could see the blue to black.
Did you customize your
Change it.
vest?
Yeah,
Little
I
pin
added some
tucking.
piping and this and that.
It's a total
Like
side
Taylor.
note. You guys already know this, but I am losing my mind with seeing the character sheets actually get dropped for the breakdown of like all of like the undersuits and like their armor and whatnot. And like I keep talking with like the guys from like Dad Batch podcast, and I'm just like, so what's happening? And it's great. It's the worst, but it's great. So, like, there's so much to think about.
So, yeah, I don't know where you go from that, but
You just move on. I warned social media I will not talk about the poncho, but it's killing
on
me.
the podcast, you already did.
I already did, so
Yeah.
just keep
Or did
going.
you just mean on
Let's
the-
move on.
Anyways,
Let's
I
move
love
on.
how
we
it's
could
like
fill the whole hour with poncho.
Jamie's
I could.
costume segment.
Yeah, there you go. Let's move on.
So we already talked about the storm that they claimed took out Camino.
The most
We-
the
Cataclysmic
worst cover
storm.
story. You could come up with anything else. Come on, Rampart. Come on,
Yeah, it was so
Palpatine. What are you
lazy.
doing?
Rampart's like, tidal wave.
Big wave.
Well,
Real
it
wave.
worked. It was going to work until they had actual evidence. Like,
Until somebody thought for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
would've got away
and
with
also had
it.
evidence.
and no
wasn't
one
for that.
wanted to think until they had it thrust in their face.
That Rampart didn't delete. Why didn't he delete that footage?
He did.
Well,
It was the
on a
backup.
secret drive.
Why
Slip
didn't
made
he
a
delete the
backup.
backup?
He
didn't know there was a backup.
there was
Oh,
a backup.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Speaking
You
sense.
wouldn't have
of-
your whole ship wiped just cause.
I'll get to my other point later because it's in the next episode. But Chuchi going to Rampart's office and confronting him about it, power move. Loved that.
I thought she was done for. Thought she was dead. I thought
Well,
he was
really?
chucking her out the window.
I agree. She was pulling the same move that that Cade did. He's like, "Oh, I decided to give him a chance to do the right thing." He's an Imperial.
Whoops.
He's not gonna do the right thing,
What are
my
you
guy.
talking
You're
about?
dead.
These poor guys.
This guy obliterates an entire city, wipes out almost an entire alien population, and this guy's like, "I
He
want you
might
to
be
turn yourself in."
I love how
your conscience.
really sent like the equivalent of a strongly worded email and
Yeah.
was like, "You don't do this. I'm going to like report you." And Rampart's like,
And Rampart's like, "Oh no." Anyway,
Get him.
anyway. But I don't think he would have like no, he wasn't gonna make any sort of move to like
Not to a senator.
get rid of like Senator
No,
Chuchi like in
he'd
that
been done
moment. He's
for.
like part of the bigger
Not-
scheme.
not
Because
done.
Rampart thinks that he's scheming with Masameda, but he doesn't know like what Palpatine's schemes are. There's schemes on schemes on schemes all the time.
can we talk about my boy Mass? Love Masameda.
I
Love
love
that
seeing
guy
him
to
again.
death. Loved seeing him again. Was super thrilled when he popped up.
Love the
the
walking
voice
stick
actor. Is
again.
it the same guy?
I
Is it
think
the same
so.
guy who did
I
the voice
think
acting in the
so.
prequels because he sounded the same. I love that. Whatever accent that is, or whatever, however he sounds, I love him.
It
Love
sounded
just,
a
I love
little different
Chagrians.
when
Love
he did the
Chagrians.
order. We shall have order. But
Ah.
it was still good to hear in all sense. Like just seeing the character and like seeing him muscle on behalf of Palpatine. Like we didn't get to see that side of him much in the we didn't see that side of him at all in the movies. He was just
He just stood
set-dressing
there.
for the amount
Yeah.
he did it.
Yeah.
It's a
I
blue
love how it
statue.
shows. I love how it shows that like his like role is like Palpatine's like front man essentially. So like he'll
Yeah.
deal with like the day to day like public facing
muscle.
affairs, and then like that's very like cool to actually see like put into place.
Yeah, very progressive for a usually human-centric empire. I must say.
He's like doing the same thing that Vader would do later, where it's like, I really hope you fix this for your sake, because otherwise you're going down, man.
My friend Palpatine is
Look.
not too happy with how you're handling
He's
this.
gonna get you.
I mean, like Masameda knows he's a Sith Lord. Like he like witnessed
does.
all of it, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, oh,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is my
No
cue to get
problems.
out of here. So like he knows. So
I've
he's
always
just-
said that he's a Sith Eternal. I've always said that Masameda is a Sith Eternal,
Probably
or
Why not?
something along those lines.
some sort of
He's
cultist.
some
or
kind of
something, yeah.
cultist who's working with Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just be a normal dude to be working with that guy. I mean,
you can't
He's
be a
definitely
normal
like the
dude
Pope
and like
of the Sith
know
Eternals.
yeah,
he's a Sith.
the Pope.
You know? Yeah.
He
There
is
you
the
go.
Pope.
He's Sith Pope.
How
He's got
does how does nobody in the Senate and just kind of in the galaxy know that? We'll say the Senate. How does no one in the Senate know Palpatine is a Sith? Like,
What
have
do
you
you
ever?
mean?
Have they ever? His eyes went from regular to glowing yellow.
The
Like,
pale,
You
wrinkly
don't
guy
ask
with
him
glowing
about
yellow eyes and a big hood.
you just don't
not
look
a-
into that.
That's
Well,
because
yeah, I
he
mean,
got
like-
scarred.
Wasn't there a king who was like deathly ill for like most of his reign? And
You mean most of them?
uh,
I mean, the
That's
realm of
fair.
Rohan
you know that
in
is
like
fair.
Lord of the
Oh
Rings.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I swear I'm not just mixing it up with House of the Dragon, and I know it was based on an actual
Oh,
king who had that like same issue, but like, yeah,
Well, not Taylor-
you would
Sure.
go ahead and talk to a deity, or like not a deity, like a tyrant like that about a personal problem. See how far you get.
Yeah, I
that's a
mean,
good
like
point.
that's a
It's
trope
easy for me to
out there.
say.
So yeah,
Like everyone probably knows he's done some really weird stuff behind the curtain, but like no one really knows what a Sith is. If you're not a Jedi, you don't really have that. There's not that knowledge isn't really regularly available. These people forget
Yeah.
the Jedi within 20 years. Like it's
Like,
nothing.
It's true.
in this moment again, it's about a year after the events of like Revenge of the Sith, right? So like to their knowledge, Palpatine has led them through a war. They have won the war, and now they are continuing
Win the war.
just the aftermath here.
Mhm.
And that's what his public image is. And so they don't know, and like they know it was a war, and people have to do things that are bad in order to like continue with the war. And that's all this is. It's just one
Someone-
big allegory for like so many actual real life events.
I mean,
Someone else cleaned
two
up the
episodes.
Senate after Yoda and Palpatine had their thing. You know, like
somebody did.
it was
Masameda.
closed off for a while. Like, well, why can't we go in there? No.
We're getting a new cog
Innovation.
fitted.
And then everyone goes in and they're like,
and they're like, "Where's the
where?"
cog?" And
Where
then
the
they're
hell's
like,
the cog?
"Oh crap, we got to buy a cog now."
Back
I
ordered.
came up with that
Camino,
all
there's
the
a
Back ordered,
storm.
man. Listen, we ordered the part. I talked to my guy in inventory.
It's
Said it's
getting
not
here. It's
there.
getting here. I,
not there.
we,
It's on Dagobah. I don't know why it's on
oh,
Dagobah.
these guys, they don't know nothing. They're just trying to wait for it to get
UPS, man.
delivered. This giant
Hyperspace
cog.
lines.
Universe Postal
held up.
Service. They just always mess it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But another stupid thing that is like I've been researching this because I might make like a little YouTube
Another
short.
stupid thing I'm gonna do. What do you?
Another stupid thing I'm gonna do.
Where you go with this?
I might make a YouTube
Buckle
short
up.
on some information stuff, but like
Okay.
the
Information.
statues in Palpatine's office, and it's on Masameta's staff, which we see in this. They're like, I can't really explain it right now, but like they're basically Sith statues. But like the Jedi never noticed this, and no one else has really noticed this. But that's just another thing with how did no one notice Palpatine was a Sith?
Because the
Well-
Sith have been extinct for years, and everyone thought they were dead, and the whole Darth Maul thing, that was a fluke. Nobody knows
Yeah.
what that
Well, it was-
actually
it was
was.
They
definitely
just
a
brushed
fluke.
that off.
They just
Who
thought
saw
it was
that
like
other than some
Qui-Gon
folks
having
on
like a
YouTube?
spice dream or something, and then he came back as a kid. That's all that they know. They were like, okay, like, sure.
Yeah. Like Anakin, that'll happen on Mustafar, and everyone who did saw that got killed. So no problem there.
You know, I have to say, it's actually kind of funny from a galactic citizenship point of view.
Citizen.
From people who aren't totally affected by the hammer of the Empire, going from Republic to Empire to New Republic probably didn't actually seem like that big a deal. Like they were,
Yeah.
you know, people who didn't know that the Empire was ruled by Sith Lords weren't being genocided or slaveried from, you know, left and right. Just an average everyday citizen who probably had enough money to not be affected by these problems probably didn't even really notice. You know, if they didn't know.
We're bad.
Yeah, well, if they didn't know that they were Sith, how are you going to know the Empire's evil? You know, if nothing's affecting you, if you're not seeing anything, then you're just kind of living your life. That's pretty freaky.
But then I mean, I guess we'll get off this track in a minute to get back on with the episode. But like we see Vader show up eventually, like, you know, just lore wise, and like they still don't suspect there's the Sith.
He
Like
just
Do we
likes
see
black,
Vader?
okay?
Is Vader out in the open? I don't think
Not-
Vader's very out in the
Not
open.
he
really.
flaunts around Coruscant every now and then in the
He
comics.
does?
In the comics, yeah.
Does
Well, I
he?
mean, like,
In the newer Vader comics, yeah.
I'm thinking of
Really?
thinking of the scene where they burn all the lightsabers. That's Masamita throwing all the lightsabers into the furnace.
It's all behind closed doors, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all like Vader's almost like a secret kind of like agent who's
You pretty much only the military would really interact with him. Like
Yeah.
that seems to be where he mainly hangs out, is on Imperial bridges and stuff, and like in his quarters. Like he doesn't want to interface with the public because he's constantly burning on the inside and outside. Like
I don't know why when you said bridges, I was picturing Vader like under a bridge, just like sitting there like
he's the troll
Holy-
under the bridge.
Do
Maybe
you have
Darth Vader
under
loins?
the bridge.
you don't see anything. It's not me. Leave me alone.
Anyways, back to
I
the
am your
episode.
bridge troll.
Rex and Chuchi, mainly Rex, capture the assassin there, clone no name,
Clone.
And they-
name.
I
tie him
love
up to a
how
wall in the Martez sisters' garage.
And they kill him in the
Right?
Martez
is
sisters'
cool.
garage.
well,
which
he
I'm
killed
sure they were
himself
thrilled
in the
about.
Martez sisters' garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved all of that though. I love how Rex was like, "All right, I have a place where we can go," and then she like straight up like asks like, "Who owns this place?" And he's like, "Oh, it's some friends," and he like doesn't go into detail, but it's just enough of a drawing everything together with that and how they're part
Yeah.
of whatever his broader network is right now.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
I think
Yeah.
it's super interesting as well with when Rex takes him out initially, he goes for the stun bolts. He doesn't use like live rounds at all.
I wanted to
so-
question him.
Well,
Probably.
he didn't know he was a clone at first, but I think that he definitely had a really good feeling that he was a clone in the first place. Maybe he thought it was like slip, but who knows? Like before that, for a very like brief like minute or so, like while I noticed Rex was using stun bolts, and I'm like, oh my god, Rex thinks it's a clone, and then my brain immediately was just like, oh my god, is it Fives reprogrammed? I was like in
no.
terror for
What
a
are you doing?
solid minute.
oh,
And then the
Jesus.
helmet came off, and then he moved the head, and there was nothing there. And I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
And
I
the
was
helmet
like-
came off, and you were like, "It is Fives."
And then it came off, and then
It
they
is
turned the
nice.
head, and there was nothing there. And I was like, "Oh, shit." I'm not even kidding. I almost had
That is so good.
like a heart palpitation, like in like that moment, like not knowing, and then it was fine, and then
Palpatine.
That would
I
be
think-
dark.
Nations.
I
But who
think he
was
used
he?
stun just to
Still dark.
question, just
He-
because he was gonna like question this guy. But
Yeah, and Rex wouldn't just kill a guy.
I
Who
don't.
was he?
I have
This
no
guy
idea.
knew Rex.
well,
Some
that's
knew him.
people.
I
did
haven't
he?
watched.
I guess
I mean,
they
he's
did.
a
I
pretty
haven't-
famous
He
clone,
said
isn't he?
captain. Yeah,
Yeah,
He was the leader of the 501st. I mean,
true.
it's not
and he's
for
Yeah.
nothing.
blonde.
Like,
We've already established this.
do you guys think that this clone knew Rex personally, or do you think he was given like flashcards and being like, "These are the really bad clones you should find"?
I
And
think
if
just,
you
like,
find
I think he
them,
just
shoot
knew him
on
from
sight.
reputation.
I think everyone
I think
just
he knew
knows
him from
Rex.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
he's a big
he's the
name.
highest. Him and Cody are the highest clones.
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get to
Yeah.
the bottom of this eventually. I've heard people say that he's like cybernetically enhanced or like some
Well,
kind
it's
of
a good-
experiment.
It
I
was
haven't watched
very,
his
like,
newest video,
Didn't
but
work out too well.
Star Wars Explained brought up, and I know Jamie saw something else online that it was like version 0 of the Dark Trooper.
Oh,
I haven't watched
Oh,
this
I
video
saw that
yet, but
thumbnail. I wanted
It was,
to watch it, but I didn't want to
yeah.
taint my thoughts.
I don't know where
Yeah.
that thinking comes from, but it's cool.
I'll have to watch that.
I'll have
I
to
think
watch it
that like
soon.
this was like it's very Winter Soldier vibes. Like I feel like
Yeah.
these were possibly
Yes.
troopers that maybe never were deployed. I love how I'm assuming that there's more of them because I'm heavily assuming that there are more of them.
There's got to be.
I
Now
don't
that you
think
bring
it's
it up.
just like one. But like I think that that's wicked interesting because there's the whole thing with the Purge troopers. Like they were like never involved until after the Purge, and then they got activated, and their only thing is kill the Jedi. Like that's it because that's all they know.
But they're
know
not
that-
clones, right?
So
In season 1, we see Rampart turn up Crosshair's chip. So what if he might have done that with a select few clones? Maybe this guy was one of them. Maybe
yeah,
that was a
probably.
little project.
yeah, because let's be
Probably
honest, the Bad
true.
Batch is an experiment.
Yep.
So
Because this guy was really like hardcore evil, where we've seen a lot of the other clones like kind of.
He was really hardcore
I
evil,
think-
and by that you mean he gave everybody the shit stare for a little while and then
Exactly.
killed himself.
He
One
just looked-
thing-
he looked evil.
When they went back to the bar to try to like appeal to the clones when they started like trying to push for more clone rights in the bills, one brought up like a really like interesting perspective that you didn't expect to see in a clone, which is that fear of apathy and wanting to get back out there and just into any fight as long as it's a fight. Like the way
Yeah.
he's like, I'd rather be out there, crushing these insurgencies that they say keep popping up. So those hints to rebellions even in a year in, but these clones
Yeah.
have no problem with, at least this one has no problem with like squashing those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because doesn't Bale talk about? I mean, we haven't talked about Bale at all, which is kind of
Barely.
crazy.
Yeah.
Bale.
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 Really.
No, that was too much.
That hurt.
Bale talks about insurgencies, right? He talks about some uprisings that are happening.
Yeah, Bale's
know.
just like, what are these insurgencies? You want to talk about them? Like Bale doesn't believe that they're happening because he's like, well, isn't the war over? And then there's still like stuff going on.
Am I
Very big
losing?
Mac energy. It's like, where are these websites? Oh, the awful websites. Where are they? Which
Where
ones
are they? Which ones?
specifically?
Which ones were they posted to? Check that. Always sunny. No, what was I going to say? Am I going crazy, or did Jimmy
Bale's
Smith
accent.
not have an accent in the movies?
Nope, you're not.
Animated Bale
Mm-mm.
sounds totally
Animated
different.
Bale has.
than
is
Jimmy
it-
He sounded like
It's not.
Who
Giancarlo
voices Bale in
Esposito.
He
Yeah.
It
does.
sounded kind of like Phil Lamar. I gotta check who voices.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
voice actor is Phil Lamar.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
okay.
okay, that makes
He's
sense.
always done Bale, but I don't
He just-
remember him.
Wild
How
How
accent.
does he do an accent? Look,
Um,
I'm all for Bale having an accent. I don't care, but it's like, why does he have one? He didn't have
I
one
just-
in the movies.
I just want like a Jimmy Smith's reaction to this of him like seeing this and being like, "Do I sound like that?" I want like a genuine like reaction to that. It's still good, and I love to see Bale though. To scroll back to the assassin clone though, I think that the most interesting takeaway though is he recognizes Rex, and then he calls himself a true believer.
In
Believer in
what?
what? Like, what was he told? Like,
The
what
Empire.
does he mean? Like, who is he believing in? It's
The
interesting.
Empire, I guess.
Yeah, clearly some seeds are being planted.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that is going to be like a greater thing we're going to find out about, or if he just means just the Empire.
I know. I think it is because
You
I
think it'll
think
be
Jamie
something
has
spicy?
a point. I think that's
Could be.
specifically set up to be a mystery. I think that's a mystery that they're kind of like putting out
But
there.
yeah, because he used this.
Conspiracy.
Because what the
He
hell?
used the cyanide tooth to get no more information out of him. That's the whole
Yeah.
point, right? So
That's
yeah.
like the
Right.
the guy, the tan guy from Mando, who did the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
exact same thing that we haven't.
Yeah.
That was Mando was the first time we saw it. We saw that one Imperial with the electric cyanide tooth, and so like seeing it again, like first of all, it was like, oh, they're using the tooth again. And it's like, oh my God, they're using the tooth again. So it's like the two
Right.
reactions like at once where it's excited to see it, but then it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have like some trauma like thinking about this now.
What if you
Um,
accidentally were just eating? Totally, it's related, and you just accidentally like bit into that tooth, like while you're
Dude.
eating the ham sandwich, or like
Not
a,
how
you
it
gotta be
a
works.
careful.
Ronto wrap.
Well, what
I
do you mean that's not
the-
how it works? How else would it work? You got to
you
be
have to
able to
like
chew it.
crack it a certain way first and then bite down. Usually, like that's how they work in like real
It's-
spies.
I'd
Oh,
be
you have
so,
experience with that, Jack?
I'd be so
yeah,
like,
you know, I've
anxious about that.
practiced.
Uh,
I practice. To the Dark Trooper thing. The music, I know this has no relation, and the Counter Brothers probably didn't mean it intentional at all. But the
Maybe
music
not.
when they showed that guy was very similar to the Mando Dark Trooper crazy
Yeah,
trap
Ludwig's
music
like
as well.
dubstep that he put
Yeah.
in for the Dark
Oh,
Troopers.
yeah.
Oh my God, I think
Yeah.
about that song daily still.
I love
Um,
that so
It's a
much.
good pump up song.
Yeah.
It
The-
is.
The Counter Brothers never miss, first of all, with any of their
No.
music. It always hits exactly right. Yeah,
And there's every episode's so unique. It's like
The
such a good
only
variety.
miss the Kind of Brothers have ever had is not coming on this show. Kind of Brothers come on the show.
They haven't missed. They just haven't aimed at.
They-
They haven't.
didn't
They,
know.
Missed
they're
them.
missing out.
They're like
They
crossover.
didn't
coming
know.
on this
There
show.
it is. There it is.
There they go. There we go.
But yeah, like I didn't get to mention it, but there was the one moment earlier in this episode where there is a big overhead shot. There's a lot of really good shots in these episodes, by the way. Like they were directed really well. Like these were probably
Yeah.
one of the most like visually like interesting, but like the shots of the entire season, by the way. Like good stuff. There's a good overhead shot that was it looked like the trench run kind of, for lack of a better term, but everything was neon. But it looked so Blade Runner. Like it looked perfectly Blade Runner. And the music was just enough of like that vibe of like the opening shots of Blade Runner. And it was just like, this is exactly what the Coruscant underworld is. And like we've seen it like more so in Andor, but like seeing it again in animation, it was just very striking again.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's cool. We can move on to episode 8. Finally, episode 8 of season 2.
Yeah.
Truth and Consequences, which we see the Bad Batch get called. We see Gonki first of all, and the Bad Batch, and then Rex calls up the boys and is like, "Hey, I got a mission for you."
Hey boys.
They go to Coruscant. To Coruscant.
Not to linger on what the Batch was doing before Rex called, but Omega was meditating. And I
That
think
was
that,
really
that
cool.
this is super important because it squashes every Omega's force sensitive theory. Because she's sitting there trying to meditate, and then she says to Echo, "Oh, Gunji told me how to do it, but I can't do it the way that he did it." And then Echo's like, "Well, he's a Jedi." And then Omega's like, "Yeah." So like she's trying, and like it's like
And
this. I don't know why, but I just thought of this like now. But there's like a scene like Pirates of the Caribbean where the one guy tries to read the Bible, and he's like, "But you can't read," and he's like, "You get points for trying."
You get points
I
for
love
Like, that
trying.
kind of thing.
Pintle and Rigetti. Don't even get me started on Pintle and Rigetti.
My
Dead
boys.
Man's Chest, best blockbuster come out in the 21st century so far.
Abbott and Costello of our time, quite frankly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I loved like that setting the scene. Gonki, Wrecker just sawing wood like in the chair. Hunter is just like sulking outside, like that perfect. And then Tex just doing his like normal
Playing
business.
video games.
It's perfect. And then
Yeah.
and then Echo finally opens up to Omega that he only joined them because of Skako Minor, and it's like, Echo, how long has it been? And you're just telling her now.
I was strapped
Like-
up to some computers and almost died, and I did die. And then
I don't like
Yeah,
being
I
alone.
didn't think about that actually. Oh my
There's
god.
there's been so
How
many
did that
like
come
they've
up?
like planted like enough seeds where like the way that this episode ended, like it made sense, but like oh my god, it was like
Yeah.
the way that the episode was made, it was like, hey, this is what's going to happen, beginning, middle, and end in this episode. You could, in theory, just watch this episode and it wouldn't come as a surprise.
Well,
yeah,
because AJ at the beginning of the day, before I'd seen the episode, was like, "Oh, your mom's gonna cry," and I was like,
what a
"Uh-oh."
text to said.
I was like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" And then as soon as Echo was like, "I just don't like to be alone, and I only joined you guys because I don't like to be alone," I'm like, "Echo's out of here. Echo's done." I was like, "Oh no." I thought they were gonna kill him off, but no, I'm
No,
glad they didn't.
He's
Yeah.
technically.
We
Well,
still
I don't want to
come
get to the
back.
ending yet, but yeah, we'll see him again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, without a doubt.
He'd technically be more alone when he's off with Rex, right? Than he is with like Five Guys or four, whatever it is.
Five
Omega.
Guys, burgers and fries.
Maybe all the recent setbacks that they've experienced has just given him second thoughts about his purpose
Oh,
there. I mean, we have noted
absolutely.
on how underutilized Echo has been on most of these missions.
True.
Yeah.
So I think Echo probably felt that too and decided, you know what, I can probably do more good with Rex since he probably needs the help anyways.
Echo's like,
And
the showrunners
they've
have
already
no
got
idea
a
what to
tech
do with
guy.
me. I just need to get out of here. The showrunners don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing here.
When am I going to get this arm? When am I
Like-
going to get the arm?
When am I getting the arm? He's not
That's the
getting the
first
arm,
thing-
guys.
He's not
That's
getting
the
the
first
arm.
thing Rex is gonna do. He's gonna be like, "Do you
Hell?
want to go in an arm?" And he's gonna be like, "Yeah, let's go get
He's
an
like,
arm."
those jerks never bought me an
What-
arm.
Want to cheer you up, kid? We'll go get you a new arm.
I have a freaking hot toy with it and everything. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
One of them's a
been
mechanical genius, and he
I've been
never made
pressing
me an
buttons with
arm.
this nub this whole time. You telling me I could have a whole ass arm?
Uh,
Come on.
Listen,
Poor
you can only
Echo.
get so far with a probe wrench, whatever the
Yeah,
droids call it.
It's tough out there. you know,
Screwdriver hand.
with the
Yeah,
screwdriver.
that is.
whatever that is. Big
Um,
flathead.
Big flathead. So we see Gonki. I mentioned that in my notes, of course,
Mhm.
in bold exclamation mark.
I love how
Um,
they're all just chilling. Sid's not giving them any work, and like Wrecker makes the comment like, "I'm sick of waiting for Sid," and it's just like, "Well, okay, then go do something else." And so, perfect opportunity.
They head
They
off to
wouldn't have done that.
Coruscant. Whole planet's one big city, and they are.
Wait,
I love
one
it.
big
Tech
thing.
literally is Captain Obvious with the we're approaching course.
Oh, hey.
Did he say that?
He did.
Oh,
I
okay.
said that to you when we rewatched it, and I'm like, "Oh, there goes
didn't think
Captain
of it-
Obvious," because
I didn't think of it like Rick Ollie. But
I
it's like
love Rick
exactly
Ollie.
the same. Well, he doesn't say the whole planet is one big city. He just says,
should've.
we're approaching Coruscant," as it's very clearly like in the viewfinder. And Hunter's just like,
there
And
it
then
is.
Gonki walks in and Echo's like, that little droid did
We're setting ducks out here.
it. A shield generator.
Oh my god. They
Rick
should've-
Ollie, dude.
They could have quoted all of Phantom Menace in that part.
Oh.
So, anyways, they get to Coruscant, and beforehand they were like, "Why are we going to Coruscant? Like, this is a suicide mission. We're clones." Which is hilarious. They still walk around in their clone armor. We didn't see Rex in his armor because he's smart. He actually has like a disguise on. The Bad Batch is running around in like, first of all, they're flying a one of a kind Republic shuttle. Still, and it's like, how does nobody notice them? And then speaking of not noticing, Omega goes off with Senator Chuchi. How in the hell,
Dude,
does
I was
Rampart
gonna
not
bring
notice
that up.
Omega?
How does Rampart?
This
He
guy's
looks
an
at her. He
idiot.
looked at her, and then he was like, "Doy." What are you doing,
Doy,
dude?
doy.
How are you? How do
it's
you
the
not know that?
imperial arrogance.
Oh,
Rampart
It was
has
the poncho.
so much. It's also the poncho.
it's also the poncho.
Rampart has so much imperial arrogance. He just little kid. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Does
There are,
not
like,
matter who
3
this child
people
is. And
I
like
thought would have recognized her. 3 people.
I guess she's not as
Rampart,
recognizable without the batch.
Old lady with the Italian name. What's her name?
The Kaminoan?
Yeah,
I forget.
Holly
her name.
Bertoni?
Bertoni.
Not-
Hey,
oh, yeah.
Bertoni.
Bertoni.
Hey, Beto.
Hey,
smack the ball on
Bertoni.
the
She
screen.
walks in. It's like, hey. I thought she would recognize her. She kind of looked at her and was like,
she doesn't at first, and then the moment Omega says like I am a clone, then Butani's like, oh shit.
And Chuchi's like, why
For
the
real?
hell did I bring you along? That's the one thing I'm asking you not to tell people.
I know.
Yeah, that
Stop
was
telling people.
pretty
Don't tell
bold.
people you're a clone.
You didn't
It-
recognize me because of the
It
purple
worked out
poncho.
every time though. Like anytime that like Omega like mentioned it or like showed like support like of like the batch or whatever, Rio didn't like tell her to like be quiet or anything. She just let her speak her
Yeah.
mind, which is super important because if you think like sometimes like in the conversations like with the Bad Batch, like Hunter's always just like settle down, like don't like just
Yeah.
be quiet.
They're getting
Like-
hauled off to Imperial jail because she reveals she's a clone. And it's good,
Hey,
that, it's good that
whatever.
he let her speak.
It's
I
sad to hear
love
what
how
happened with the
Not the
Kaminoans.
She
Street.
volunteers to go with her as well, and Rio's just like, oh, you can't get in with that Imperial ID, and Tech's just like, oh, yes, she can.
Boy,
Like
can I
his one
solve that.
line in this
It's
whole
just-
entire thing.
Out here manufacturing fake IDs, like that's his new business. Like screw riot racing, he's just
He's got a
making
lot of
fake IDs
practice.
to everyone.
Oh, we'll
It's
get to
Jane
riot
Kirk's
racing.
joke.
I saw
I
riot
really-
racing in the background at the bar
You
Oh,
did?
you did.
on one of the
Nice.
TVs. I think it was the riot
Oh.
racing clips from the episode. I
Probably
don't think it was
was.
pod racing. I thought at
Ima-
first I thought it was pod
imagine-
racing, and I was like,
So, no,
Imagine the
record.
clones at 79's bar just watching, like, isn't that Tech?
Hey, isn't
Hey,
it?
Tech-
We're all
I know
cheering
it.
for him.
The only
Put it
tech I know. Wait, hold on. Zoom in. Oh shit, that's a clone.
Son of a bitch.
Wait a minute, male pattern
That's-
baldness.
No one said
That's-
that goddamn
That's
word.
tech.
So I really liked when Omega went in the Senate the actual Senate room, and
Yeah.
she looked around and she was like, "Where's the clone like representation or whatever?" Like, oh, they
Mega.
they don't have representation.
Oh, Mega.
I love how like angry she was about it. It was so good.
I love this though because
That's great.
another like point kind of like of the show is a kid learning about the broader galaxy, and that's what it is for Omega. Is she's learning about this entire galaxy because she's never experienced anything before. And so like I love how she got the opportunity to see the entire Senate, even though it was empty the first time. And just learning about like that worldview of how do politics kind of work at a very high level, and then Rio does her best to like explain it and say that like there's the good people out there who will fight for you, which is true in real politics, but not everyone is represented, unfortunately. And so like this is something, again, it's tying it back to the real world, guys. It's great.
I mean, Washington D.C. is still fighting for proper Senate representation. They have representatives in the House, but not the Senate.
The clones are Washington D.C. Yeah.
Or I mean, honestly, the clones are just veterans.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Of course.
The poor treatment of veterans. Nobody gives a crap about the veterans in the Senate. Everybody was just kind of like, oh, we're just going to start conscripting people, and we're just going to forget about the clones. And it's that old idea of like, people are always gung ho to go to war, but they never actually care about the price that you have to pay to fight people. To send people off, to do the actual,
I remember
sacrificing.
The burn pits bill took forever to get passed. It was laborious and painful to watch as it kept getting voted down because of stupid politics. And that's exactly the kind of thing that Star Wars is hitting with us.
And I will say this, the first thing I thought of, and the thing that really is like super, super painful now, is the 501st Trooper in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I thought of that.
Yes, the whole time.
The discarded veteran
because we know how this
his
will
helmet
end.
out, all bushy beard, completely abandoned. Everybody's just forgotten about them. That's just an insanely tragic, but like super like real.
It was played for laughs at the time, and it hits very different now. Yeah.
Laughs? There were no laughs here. Can I remind you
guys?
I
didn't laugh. When I was watching it, I didn't laugh.
I was doing the Leo jumping off the couch, pointing at the screen when we were in the hotel room in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I think I made everyone pause the show. But like, I've been talking about for the past, like, I feel like a couple of years, as long as we've had the show and longer, I am so invested in finding out what the retirement policy is for the clones in this new canon universe. And we are learning now officially this is what it's going to be. Because we had someone fighting for the clones, and Palpatine's just like, oh, nope. And then, like, I don't want to say it's rewarding to finally learn that, because it is from a storytelling side, but it's absolutely heartbreaking learning that this is officially what it's going to be. Is they're just going to be like, that's it. You guys
I know
are
what the retirement plan is.
Obviously,
hunting Jupa.
That's it. Yeah, I was about to say they keep track of them, obviously, some of them. Because the Empire knows about like Rex somehow. Rex is doing all this like espionage and they don't care. That's a funny word to say.
Eventually, he just gives up and just starts goofing off with his
buddies,
and they're just like, "Oh, leave him alone, that old rascal."
Just an old man.
Like, I want to know why. Like, I want to know how it gets to that point where Rex, Wolf, and Gregor are so comfortable just being out there doing their thing. Like, it's gonna be absolutely catastrophic, whatever actually happens.
Yeah, and obviously people are saying like, oh, I don't know if Bad Batch is going to be like 3 seasons or what, but there's clearly still a lot of story left to tell, and we're gonna be learning about how Rex and Wolf and Gregor end up where they are in Rebels. I think that's pretty fairly obvious.
Whether it's in Bad Batch or they do another animated show here or something, like we're gonna see that story. Rex and Friends.
Rex and Friends.
The Rex
boys.
Rexing around.
Just a bunch of clones having fun in this.
Wait a minute.
It's like an 80s sitcom.
Yeah.
What else we got for this episode?
So we see the boys while Omega's with Senator Chuchi. The boys, the Bad Batch and Rex.
I love this little infiltration.
They go to the Venator to get the Venator.
I love how Rampart's ship doesn't have a name. It's just Rampart's Venator. And like
that is its name.
I guess that's the name of it.
He doesn't have a name.
It's like, what do you want to name it, sir? What? It's just my Venator. Just call it my Venator.
Okay, my Venator.
Okay, all right.
It's like literally probably what happened. He's dope. I love them sneaking in, and I love the little detail of like Wrecker's pack like getting like shaved by this like giant saw blade.
Dude,
he's
awful place
huge,
to
so
put a
he-
ladder.
Yeah.
Somebody
Crap.
should call up Space OSHA.
Space OSHA.
Not that it matters.
No
because there's
rails.
so
And
many
not
violations.
accessible. But yeah, I love how there was like the multiple Wrecker moments like in this episode as well when they like fly up to the thing and he's panicking over the heights and Rex is just like, is this guy still for real? Like
This is
Like,
him better.
it's too good. Too good. I think that was the moment Echo was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
We see them get the log, and then they get to the escape. Hunter's yelling at all the different plan numbers, and we're all like, what's going on here? So is Rex. He doesn't know
3
what's going on.
plans at once.
They get to the escape pod finally, and they're all like, oh boy. Rex is like, this isn't going to end well. And Tech puts on, he takes his riot racing experience with him, and he hauls ass with that escape pod. I'm telling you, that gave him an extra like 20 feet doing that.
Wait,
riot
did
racing.
he was he? No, I was thinking he might have helped with piloting the box car in episode 1 or 2 of season 2, like
Yeah, didn't he?
the escape
No,
pod.
they
he
didn't.
wasn't there for that part.
No, well,
No.
he was in the box, but they didn't pilot it. They just
they
that
just
was
fell.
Omega's
They just
learning
sank.
process, and she was like, "Oh, the thrusters."
When he broke his
like,
leg.
engaged.
His flying a big box arc is really going well. That's just all I'm saying.
You know what? You're absolutely right. He went
You're
from
right.
not being able to control it to being a pro. We're getting the box arc. I love it.
Andor
Jack.
would be proud.
Box arc.
Yeah.
Launching the pods was like a pretty cool little plan though, because it wasn't like they just like he just set like a heading like farther over. That's all it was, and then just trying his best to like keep it there.
But
And then of course it wasn't perfect, and he was like, "Oh well, it wasn't actually good." And I'm just like, I relate, buddy. That is like how I feel with every single thing that I do.
So they've
Someone-
done that a handful of times, it seems.
Hey,
Taking the escape
V-Wings,
pod.
by
Yeah.
the way, V-Wings.
Yes.
V-Wings, yeah,
Like
again.
seeing V-Wings.
Yeah.
Always like seeing V-Wings. None of them make TIE fighter noises, and that pisses me the hell off. They made TIE fighter noises in
Yeah.
episode 3, and every time
Yes, they
V-Wings
did.
pop up after that, they didn't make TIE fighter noises. What the hell's
Yeah.
going on?
It was just
Seriously.
Good
modified.
point.
What's going on?
They haven't
They
since.
go to Twin
I guess
Ion,
they
and then
haven't.
they're like, "Nah, this needs more time in the shop before we can, launch this
Maybe.
fully."
Just like the Senate room
I
with the
don't know, cool
cog, they
ass,
haven't
just like,
they
I
haven't
don't
put that
know.
engine in yet.
Yeah.
thought we'd test it after the fall of the Republic. Thought it'd be a good time to just test some new Twin Ion engines, but nope, didn't work.
That's
So
fine.
they get the log. Rex and Echo seem to drive it over, coming around the corner on 2 wheels, on 2 hover
No wheels.
things, and they do the handoff to Omega. They bring it into the Senate room to bail. It's quite the like relay run to bail
Yeah, for
to
real.
Senator Chuchi. And then I love how the whole like video is like projected in the room.
Oh yeah.
And I was saying like, who took this recording? Like it's like all the Star Destroyers and Taboka City. Like where's this
Well,
visual
that's
coming
the
from?
problem with
GPS?
holo recorders, right? Like,
Yeah,
how,
they make
how
no
do
sense.
they work?
My favorite example of that, and I will never forget this. Attack of the
Episode 2.
Clones. It's when Mace Windu is talking to Anakin and Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan gets captured, and Mace Windu's like looking up like this. Then he like turns around and like talks to Anakin, but we don't see like a giant ass projection of Anakin. But for some reason, when we're at Anakin's POV, he's looking up from his tiny little chair at Anakin, who must be like 50 feet tall in the like. It makes no sense. I don't. What's the perspective?
Deep fake AI holo projection?
No idea.
Yes.
No clue.
Gotta adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen.
But that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they didn't
love
install
how.
the big giant holo projectors until Palpatine took over. Sorry, Jim.
No, you're good. I love how it took like showing that entire recording though, and I absolutely despise that Omega had to experience it again.
Oh,
Yeah, they showed a great shot of her looking at it.
Yeah, and that was one of the shots that was literally in the trailer. They showed us this in the trailer, guys. That they were going to
Yeah.
show the entire Senate, the bombing of Camino. This was in the
I
trailer.
didn't even think of it.
This I thought of it because you know why? This was one of the purple poncho shots. One of the 2 from the trailer was that in the background.
I had no idea she was gonna get a poncho. I don't remember that in the trailer. I remember her in the trailer in the Senate building with Palpatine coming up.
Yeah,
For some
it's
reason,
that shot.
I envisioned she was like alone in the Senate building hiding, and
Oh, I did
Palpatine's like,
too.
"Hello,
And
I am so
Palpatine-
glad.
Palpatine's coming up like Omega.
I see
I
you."
am
Whoa.
Where are you?
so glad there was not some stupid
Yeah.
Omega Palpatine showdown.
Yeah.
Like, I know
conflict
you're
or
clone. Like, no,
confrontation.
no. Like,
Yeah.
no,
For real.
no.
No, I'll be honest. I did think that was what was going to happen. So I was pleasantly surprised when Palpatine showed up and was
With the
just
alarm
like,
blaring.
Yeah.
oh, dude, that was freaky. It was such a
How-
good entrance.
It
Yeah.
was, but like, how comical is it that like Rampart gets pantsed in front of the whole Senate, and then just
Hmm.
immediately Palpatine's like with Masameda down below, hit the button,
Send it.
go in.
I'm coming
Where's the
in.
ready to
disco
go.
lights? Where's the fog?
They
fog
come
machine.
in through this projection of like Camino being destroyed, and he's literally rising above Camino. Like, come on, this man is the drama. Like,
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God. And then
He lives for it.
he's just like, clones too obedient. Get rid of them. Go on. It was like, holy crap! Like, really, Palpatine is such a stinker. He's such a little stinker.
Oh,
Like, can
yeah.
you believe him, dude?
No.
He reverse Uno'd them.
Dude's
It
got
was
the
a
biggest
masterful plan.
stinker energy imaginable.
You have activated my trap card.
Dude, no matter
you
what
guys-
happened,
did you guys
he
notice-
got what he wanted.
Like a big parallel between Omega and back to like Revenge of the Sith when Padme's hearing the speech of Palpatine like declaring an
Yeah.
empire with like
Big vibes.
this of declaring, oh, the Imperial Stormtrooper, and she's there like shocked. It was like
Yeah.
very similar. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
there's that. There's like reaction shots of like Bale as well, because Bale's right next to Padme like when that speech happens in Revenge
Poor
of the Sith.
Bale.
And so like there's like he doesn't say anything that entire scene. Like he just does like the handoff. Well, he says to like Senator Chuchi, but like he doesn't like add anything the entire time. And so he's just silently watching this happen because that's what happened to Padme as well. She couldn't say anything more because the decision was already out of her hands, and it's just so much. But yeah, I loved Rampart getting absolutely pantsed this
Yeah.
episode because it was good. It was actually a surprise as well that it happened so early, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love all these proceedings because as the clones are literally taking him in, he's saying, "I was following orders."
Yeah. How's it feel, Rampart? How's it
Yeah,
feel?
buddy.
Meanwhile, like Crosshair's watching like space, like
Hey,
C-SPAN, like
buddy.
back in the barracks, like, "Whoa, oh man!"
This shit is hilarious.
He's like enjoying like lunch, like finally watching.
He
like
flicks
the
off a
space-
riot racing for 2 seconds, and he's like,
I guess
What?
good soldiers don't follow.
Crosshair's watching.
"Troopers."
Ellen
Look.
Rickman's back.
I am wicked disappointed we did not see Crosshair these 2 episodes.
Yeah, where is he?
I am
Yeah.
really disappointed we haven't seen him since like that one episode.
Yeah. We need
Yeah, and
to
I
see
hope
where he
we
fits
can
into
see
this.
him.
This
hope
happened
we
last
can
season
see
too. We saw him like 3 times.
Like,
And he's kind of the most interesting clone because
they want to make him like the bad guy of like this, but like it's not that you gotta show him still. So like I don't know.
There's only
Must have
4
just been
Bad
close.
Batchers left.
He's too busy doing a Dos Equis.
Yeah.
sponsorship deal.
StarWars.com posted a trivia quiz recently, and they asked how many original Bad Batchers are left.
Original.
That was the question. How many are left?
It would be 3
Yes,
because
But-
Omega's not an original Bad Batcher.
that's incorrect because Crosshair is an original member. So it's
But he's not a member
4.
right now.
It's such a stupid question.
He's not part of
Come
that. He's not
on.
part of
He's not
that
part of the
batch right now.
team. He's not part of the
Not
team.
part of the team.
He had a
Yes.
chance at the end of last season, and he said no.
Guys, you want to hear my theory
He
of
got
how
traded.
this season's gonna end?
How's it? How?
Go on.
Everyone's gonna be separated, except Hunter and Omega are gonna be together, and something's gonna happen, and Crosshair's gonna have to save them. And so then the 3 of them will be together, but everyone else is gonna be separated.
What's
Crosshair has
Wrecker
to
going to be doing?
choice.
Eating popcorn?
Yeah,
It's
Maybe.
gonna be Tech. They're gonna have an
How-
odd couple thing. It's gonna be
what's
great.
what's Tech going to be
That's the
doing?
I don't know,
sitcom.
but I genuinely think that's what's going to happen because
Tech
the way
becomes a pro racer.
Yep.
maybe because like the way that like the season has been going is everyone kind of has been showing like what they can like do on their own. But the way
Yeah.
that like season 1 ends is it for lack it's not really happy, but it is with like the main group is together and like Crosshair makes his choice. But I feel like we need to go further and we need to just separate everyone. It's just disarray the
It's
end
the
of the
credits
season.
at the end of American Graffiti, and they're going to be like, Tech died in Vietnam, and Wrecker did this, and
Like I don't think anyone's gonna die. I just think
No.
that like everyone is gonna be separated. like maybe someone's gonna go to jail. I don't know.
And they're
I
going to
don't
be
know
in the
why
same
these-
cell as Rampart.
Oh,
And
where did
who's
they
your
go to jail?
cellmate? He steps out of the
Not on
shadow.
P5.
He's like, hello. I don't. That was
Hello,
my
Clarice.
Rampart. You like it? I'm working on it.
Step
Right.
away from the
jailbreak,
blast,
and then they're on
Omega.
Narkina 5. There you go.
Oh,
Ooh.
and then everybody's like, oh, hurly durly, or whatever they say. The two
What do you
aliens,
mean I
they're
can't
still
have
there
my
fishing.
shoes?
Hurly durly.
What did they say? What did they say?
Onesie twosie.
Onesie
Twosie,
twosie.
Hey,
two.
Brady.
Onesie
We got no squigglies. Sorry.
And Rampart's like,
Uh,
why? This is why I hate aliens.
So Echo leaves. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah,
Echo
Echo's
leaves
out.
to join Rex, which
This is
is
the first time Omega is losing somebody close to
I love
her.
how everyone
Yeah.
in the Bad Batch walked away, and Omega's like, no one's like there comforting her. I guess Echo was like, but
No, nobody really was. That was kind of like weirdly insensitive of them.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
because like I
they were
think
upset
that
too.
they had already like moved on because like
Prepared.
that's the whole thing is like the Bad Batch knows how to adapt and how to move on and like work on things, and like they had already like said their goodbyes to him because like they all decided this before like Omega even returned, so like they knew it was coming. And they probably also decided, hey, Echo is the one telling Omega, let him. Echo was probably like, I'm gonna tell her myself, and like that's probably why. So they were just like, all right, we're gonna go over here while you deal with the child, because like unfortunately like, one of the best ways to like deal with the child saying that someone needs to go away is to just like not involve them with the decision, which stinks,
early.
but it is like the best way to do it. And
I don't think there
unfortunately
was-
Omega's
yeah.
gonna like take it so personally, like because she hasn't had to deal with someone like close to just like leaving up and leaving. She's gonna think it's her fault, and I can't deal
Especially
with
with
that,
the
man.
way the way Echo is kind of like accidentally spoken like of her at times, like, and she's misunderstood that to like
Yeah.
mean actual like ill will towards her. Like she's definitely, yeah, you're right. She's gonna take this
Yeah.
pretty hard.
Because like
Shit.
there's been like multiple times she's accidentally overheard like Echo essentially complaining to Hunter that like they could be doing more and whatnot, but it's just so frustrating because like she's gonna think it's her fault and whatnot. And I genuinely have not cried this hard over something from Star Wars since seeing like Leia and Ben pass away at the same time. That wrecked me. But this watching this for the first time, like and like seeing it all happen, and then the last shot of Omega just like hugging Lula,
Ooh, yeah.
and
And
then just like and then just realizing that like obviously we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season, but realizing in that moment that like Echo is not with Rex on Sealos. If I have to watch this man die, I am not okay.
They won't kill Echo.
I know that they're not
Echo-
going to.
He already
but you-
died once. They
the-
can't kill him again.
The,
Yeah,
the,
no.
the,
I
the,
died
the
before.
I wouldn't
irrational,
believe it.
the whole like irrational, just like like the brain just starts charted, and I'm just oh my god, like I was not okay for like a good while right after watching those episodes, and then I had to go back to work, and that was rough.
That's
the
always
biggest
tough.
mistake. The biggest mistake of these two episodes, because I gave him a 10 out of 10 for the full package, but the only mistake was it ended with Omega hugging Lula, and it was all sad, and then it just went to the like crescendo of. They should have just
Yeah.
done the sad.
It's like when a news anchor's like, and then the murderer was found with a body in the bottom of an elevator shaft.
So there's a sale. at
And now in
McDonald's.
sports, you know,
yeah, like
And now it's
it-
words.
it's weird because like the first episode ends with like the dramatic like tense like assassin music as well, and then like this one
Yeah.
just jumps
Yeah.
to like the theme, and it's weird that they didn't transition into it because if you think back to like the really heavy episodes of Rebels, they continue that on.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Jedi Knight because that is the one.
I
so, like-
cry like a baby.
That's the other one. I
in
can't
Jedi
rewatch.
Knight. That is
Anyway,
one of the only things that makes me cry, and I can cry at that. That's bad.
yeah. So I think that after thinking back on it, I think that they are going to see like Echo and Rex again. I mean, like there's like literally a shot out there. I think that got leaked or it was in a trailer of like Omega hugging Echo again, and that we haven't seen that yet. So
Good.
he'll be back.
he said he'd be back.
He'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
A quick little thing before we wrap up. We're going a little long here, I guess, but
It's okay. We had 2 episodes.
it was 2, yeah. But we mentioned earlier Matt alluded to something about who we might see eventually. And I wanted to talk about quickly, like Rex talks about the contacts that he trusts around the galaxy. Obviously, we know the Martez sisters. Who else? Bale's
Ahsoka.
probably one of them. But
Yeah.
you
You were saying
Ahsoka's
Ahsoka.
one. Matt, were you like alluding to who you think we'll see Ahsoka in the show, or
No,
was
I
it
honestly
something else?
forget who I was alluding to.
Oh, man,
Because
we teased
you
it
brought
way
it
back.
up. Oh no, this is gonna kill me. I forget the context in which I brought it up, but I'm pretty sure it's something that we have confirmed. I don't think it's something that we.
Gunji
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gunji, he's back.
again.
Really wanted to go over those meditation techniques after you heard Omega wasn't getting it.
But do we think we see Omega? Do we think we'll see Ahsoka
I don't think so.
in the Bad Batch at
I
all?
hope
No.
not.
I don't think
I
we're gonna
love
see
her,
another
but-
Jedi. If we do, it'll be another small time one.
Okay.
If we do, I don't think it'll be
Yeah.
anything like Ahsoka.
Come on,
Gunji was just
Pietro, voiced by Jeff from American Dad. Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
Why not?
Why is he voiced by Jeff from American Dad? He didn't even try to change his voice. He sounds exactly the same. It's great.
I'd love to see them. I don't know why. Like, obviously, I want Hondo to show up at some point. That's a given. But I'm very biased, but I would love to see them run into some Children of the Watch. I just want to see them like in their prime. I don't know, like where I'd have to like brush up where they are exactly post. Like the purge hasn't happened yet, I assume. But
No.
Soon,
like
yeah.
No, it
where
happens after
where are
that.
they at? Obviously, like Din hasn't been rescued yet, so I wouldn't expect to see him. That'd be very silly. But like, I don't know. I'd just be curious to see more Mandos.
Or any.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
There have been
Yeah,
zero.
just Mandos in general.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if they do end up looking into that, or if they do end up exploring that as well, because like the whole Jango Fett was Mandalorian and whatnot, and they can go back even further. That would be interesting to see if they even touch
Yeah.
upon the fact that like all the clones are technically Mandalorians.
Ooh,
Had to
That would
conquer
be
Dawn.
really interesting.
I'd love to see a Boba and Bo confrontation because they have beef in Mando season 2, right?
They did, yeah.
So it'd be cool to
They
kind of
didn't-
see something like that. But
It didn't really seem like they knew of each other, but they didn't seem to like
Yeah.
have had previous beef. But
right,
it didn't take much at all.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like
True.
he
They got in a bar
talking, they
fight.
calls her like princess and whatnot. So,
Oh yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
Boba Fett in this.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah. Really, Boba. Like, if any Mandalorian needs to show up, it would be Boba Fett.
Oh,
Boba
look,
Fett.
really, again, I think Boba is justifiable, but I don't want to get into this like weekly. I think this person should show up. I think this cameo
Right.
should
yeah,
happen."
yeah.
That was
You
the
know,
fault. That was
that's
the
a trap
one.
we fall into.
Season 2
Mando
of Mando
season
really
2.
suffered from 100%.
I hate the who's the poster gonna be?
The flavor of the week.
Yeah.
Just give me the show. Just give me the show.
But now we're getting Babu Frick, so never mind, guys. Give me more cameos. All
You
the
know what? That
cameos.
one's okay. You know,
Babu.
Hey.
watching you, but you snaked on by with that one.
Yeah,
There's 2 Babu Fricks.
Yeah, dude.
yeah, I
It's
agree.
getting out of
guys.
hand.
Now there are 2 of them.
But yeah, so what's next week's episode called? Y'all remember? Anyone
No.
remember? Has anyone looked ahead that far?
AJ, drumroll, please.
Next
You need a long
week's
drum roll.
episode.
The crossing,
The crossing.
Oh, it's gotta be crossing, right?
The crossing.
the cross herring,
The
More like
cross
the cross
herring.
red
There we
herring,
go.
because it's gonna be a
Whoa.
murder
It's a train
mystery.
episode, guys.
a train.
Benoit
episode?
Blanc's coming in,
Hell yeah.
directed by Ryan Johnson.
It's a
Yeah,
murder
dude.
mystery on the train.
Wow.
Oh,
No.
but I kind of wanted
Um,
that though.
That'd be
Cool.
cool.
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
Be back next week to talk more Bad Batch. If you've been listening, you can also find this as a video version on YouTube if you've been watching and in the chat today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can also take us to go in the audio version of your choosing. Episode will be out shortly. And yeah, you can find us everywhere on social media at HoloNet Marauders. If you want to see my descent into madness about Omega's poncho or Hunter's season 2 outfit, I'm over at Gem the Jedi as always. But yeah, HoloNet Marauders over on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for listening to the HoloNet Marauders podcast.